Ṣẹ̀kẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ bá jó, ṣẹ̀kẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ bá jó, olúwa mi ò dìde ojó ṣẹ̀kẹ̀rẹ̀.
Hello and welcome to Aeternum Forge, or we're still trying to figure out what the hell we're going to call it or pronounce it. I'm Phantom X, joined as always by Diggs and the legendary Neurotoxin. Hello, gentlemen.
Hey.
So yeah, everyone, we've been talking about New World for a little while, but this is a new branded show, so everything hopefully is set to go for good. I am always looking for feedback, so if things look off, let me know. That being said, we are 17 days, so in between 2 and 3 weeks into everything rocking and rolling. So let's just sort of get into it with your guys' thoughts so far. You've been pretty heavy. I've been out this week. I haven't been able to play a whole lot, so been banking the rested EXP, basically using it up. I'm at, I think, level 28, but you all have experienced much more. So let's start. What are your guys' thoughts so far?
Well, I'm going to jump in because I want to talk about our new intro, which is awesome. Although, that being said, I was hoping we could see more of your characters in there. You got a great shot of my Diggs character.
None of mine.
We would have more recognizable characters, and none of yours. Yes, we can still update that.
We? What do you mean we?
We can still get that updated, I think. Right.
It can still be updated.
I spent all damn day doing that, man.
No, I mean, your work is great. I'm just saying you might be able to get some more.
I admittedly didn't. I have not taken any screenshots. I admit that. I actually just decided this morning I'm going to do it. We got a show today. Didn't have anything, so. No,
and it's great. We could get some closer pictures of Nero's character. Even if we use that intro shot, we could, cut off the sides. But anyway, but it looks awesome. So even if we left it like that, it's awesome. Yeah, go ahead. So Nero, you've been playing. Phantom, you played a lot last week and then couldn't play last weekend.
Yeah, I've been mostly working, so I've, still jumped in. Gosh, what have I done? I finally moved on to the, 25 to 35 zone. What's the one just to the north? I'm forgetting the name.
Blightwood?
Yes. So much less scarier at 28 than it was at 23. Back when I tried to go move on and couldn't because the quest language was all completely messed up, which they changed the first patch, which was nice.
What's your armor levels at? Did you bought?
Oh hell, I don't know about that. Probably. In the 300s somewhere, I assume. I couldn't tell you, but
And you're using steel weapons?
Yeah, tier 3, whatever the. I just use sword and boards, so I haven't yet branched out into anything else. I've sort of kept. I've had a couple of nice, I had a nice ice gauntlet that was a tier 2, and I kind of kept it, thinking, well, and I just eventually just salvaged it for the repair parts. I had moved past it in a level range, anyways. So, but no, I've not branched out beyond that. Which actually, I guess yesterday I closed my first breaches. Had paired up with a healer that just kind of came out of nowhere, who is admittedly much higher level than me, so I don't think I did much at all, but hey, still worked.
Cool. Yeah. Nero, what have you been up to?
So I have been definitely doing a lot more harvesting than the pre-launch phases because we get to keep all of our progress now. So what I've kind of been up to, mostly armor smithing and smelting, not as much on the woodwork, a lot more stone cutting. Gotten the mining up to 100 recently.
Is that your highest?
No,
What's your highest?
No, my highest, I believe, is either skinning or gathering. I think one of them's around 130.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So those are, and it's kind of a funny thing. I really had to actually like grind up to 100 mining. I didn't have to grind for skinning. It just came naturally. You kill it, you skin it, you move on. Bag's full, go back home. That was the way for a while, so I just accumulated it over time. Especially as one that I want to make sure I kept up on, because the later you get in level without keeping up on that skill, the more you're going to be unable to skin the things at the level you're killing and continue to grow in your skinning skill. So that was one I made sure I didn't fall behind on. Cutting trees is probably the most boring thing in the game, and I'm only at 67 in cutting down trees and lumberjack. It's just not. It's not as fun. It also really doesn't feed many of my loops. Other than charcoal, I don't do much at all with wood. I'm not doing wood weapon crafting. I'm not making staffs. Not not doing any of that sort of stuff. So when it comes to wood, it's basically just charcoal or grinding up to the highest level of wood that I can make it at the moment, and then just after having gotten the skill, sit on it, maybe make a little furniture. I don't think I'm actually going to get into that one. Yeah, so that one.
What did you grind for ore, like mining?
From 80 to 100, it was.
What did you grind? I was just curious.
What I was using to grind?
Yeah. Well, like iron or just whatever you could find, or.
I just went to good old boulders. They're everywhere.
That's what I was kind of get at. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one of those like, well, should I have done the grinding for boulders earlier or done it on the later side? It's only recently that I've gotten in the 25 to 35 areas that I'm seeing loads of platinum, and I'm seeing loads and loads of star metal that's just glaring at me throughout these caves and stuff. It's like I could be gathering all of this, skilling up real hard, and I can smelt it too. So, this is workable material that I just have to leave behind. That really sucks. And I got tired of continually having that happen in Cutlass Keys. So I went and split boulders. I got some mining in along the way too, some real ore, but use that to get some stone cutting, some bricks, use some bricks for one of the town quest things. It's a thing. It's fine. Stone cutting I like to keep up on because it's nice to be able to make my own, jewels, be my self-sufficient gem maker. So that's
you raised a good you mentioned something that I had thought about myself moving on to the next level range, is how well done is the harvesting that you are at the level you need to be at the next zones.
Here.
Right.
Zone.
It takes persistence. If I was a little passive and I didn't go for every last damn plant and hang out in some farms and hang out in some high density hemp patches, and some time I spent in an area I'm not going to name that is just like harvesting heaven. It's definitely one of those sorts of things that I could have fallen behind in real easily. And it's kind of funny to say that because at this point I'm still just getting higher loads of motes and then some slightly higher alchemy resources, which I'm not really doing the alchemy thing as much. Whenever I get piles and piles of hyssop, I just like a couple days ago made 641 minor health potions, then just threw them straight on the trash on the street, New York style.
Phantom is talking about boulders, hidden boulders. Start trying to skin or gather
Oh,
something.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Does that happen to you? Like you're in this nice big lush foliage area and you just aren't, and you go to like harvest nuts or something or skin something, and all of a sudden you're hitting a damn boulder, and then it's so annoying.
I mean, they have these little white circle targeter things you can use to try to specify what thing in a grouping you're trying to get, but sometimes those little handles don't pop up for you. So you think you've got it. Especially there's specifically certain types of cats, and I wonder if the collision scaler for the corpse is off for some of them, and that's why they're kind of sunken into the ground a bit.
I end up harvesting bushes, so greenwood, rather than boulders.
That too.
That one too. Yep.
Yep.
As you do that randomly, you also pick up like woodlouse bait and stuff, so it's not all bad.
Yeah, it's rare enough that I don't do that a lot. But yeah, it's interesting that you talk about the concept of trying to match leveling with your crafting. Because I just
I'm not crafting.
Well, crafting too, but specifically harvesting is what we were.
Yeah, but if harvesting's off, crafting's going to be way off. So I'm more specifically with crafting.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, and come to find, just recently, Terradon, I think, was the one who pointed it out. Just do the town board quest. They don't require as many resources, and you get a giant XP bonus for them. So I started doing those a little bit.
But aren't the stuff that you need in the different tiers? I would expect that when you go to Cutlass Keys, you would start seeing a lot of star metal. That would be right. They're trying to match those tiers there.
Yeah. But I don't think that's reflected in the town board. You're still only making like iron, maybe steel at the best.
Yeah, I don't know that. Do the town boards match the level of the area? I don't think the town boards match the level of the area.
Well, you're not making a specific wearable piece of equipment. You're making a commissioned item from a very specific recipe. So it's really hard to say whether something is to the level or not. But no, like in the 1 to 25 zones, I'm mostly finding quests where they don't even want processed iron, leather, and fiber. They want you to come into the quest with raw ore and raw fiber and green wood. And so that definitely, for a 1 to 25 area, that is not scaling whatsoever. I think I only had to use iron in the set that I made for Cutlass Keys yesterday. So no, I don't think that actually scales.
But that's what I'm saying. I think the town boards, I think I've looked at the town boards in Cutlass Keys, and it doesn't ask for star metal.
No, see, I don't have a reason to do them. My play style, I'm not a rush to gain EXP per se.
Well, it also helps the town.
But
it helps. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't play enough to. I mean, mine would be a drop in the bucket as far as what I. So it's harder for me to say, well, I'm gonna when I could still use the ore or whatnot to level up crafting. I've not. I'll do some, if it's an exploration, but not a crafting.
I do them because it's decent XP for stuff I'm probably gonna have fun doing anyway, like shooting turkeys or killing rabbits or whatever. Those are pretty easy, and it's gonna help to some degree. It's and the way I've been playing, where I've been on both of my characters, really starting on the Diggs character, I started with the fire staff and then eventually went to the life staff, and the same thing with my Kuchimba character, which is my first character. Started with the spear and recently started with the life staff, and then I use the life staff when I'm leveling that up quickly. I'll use it on trash mobs, level 7, level 6, and for that, it's fun to do turkeys and rabbits. And although I don't think turkeys and rabbits don't actually give you weapon points, but
I'm not sure if they
Anyway,
do now because they're
so
one-shot kills.
it's yeah, but it's real easy to um there's plenty of easy quests to do. Um, you'd be doing them anyway. Um, maybe it's also when I'm trying to do achievements, like get my food is food, killing a
Yeah.
bunch of wolves. Um, but what I love about the game is that there's always something to do. So I think ever since I started playing MMORPGs, there's the hell levels where you're just trapped, really doing the same one thing over and over and over again. And that's usually to get to your next adventure level. But because the crafting and gathering and exploring all feeds into your same level, everything you do gives you. I mean, everything that you do is worthwhile.
I thought that's called
So I'm not.
endgame.
No, end game is when you just repeatedly do the same dungeons and raids over and over again for no purpose. Um, you know, lots of stuff are kind of tied to story, which is nice. So I do like not the board tasks, but it can be fun to get one of the quests, side quests, or um, main quest stuff. What seems to have changed recently with the second patch is uh uh faction missions seem to be scaling along with your level, which I don't like. So at level 24, I'm not doing a level 23 or level 24 quest solo. Um, Whereas I would have done a 14 or 18 or level 20 quest solo. So I haven't done any
Why won't you
faction
do
quests.
those? What makes you stop as a 24 from? I'm just
At
curious.
24, I won't do a 24 quest. And the same for, there's a couple of quests that I got from the board that say they're level 17, and when I get there, they're level 24. I'm like, no. Even one was a level 7, actually. It says it's a level 7, and when I get there, it's level 24. I'm not doing this. It's too easy to get a whole bunch of, get a pile of people, pile of skeletons on top of you. So
I'm
I
just
usually
curious
want
because I was
to
kind
see.
of going about 3-4 levels above. I don't know if that will continue to be that way post level 30, but
Yeah.
It definitely comes and goes. For me, I didn't even start on Cutlass Keys until finishing every last quest in the 1 to 25 area, except I still haven't done the Amaran Temple once, and I know you got to do it, twice. So that's the one thing. And even without going there, through all the crafting and all the questing and a little bit of the side questing, yeah, if I see that I've got all the materials needed for something on the board and I can just pop it real fast, I'll accept it. I'll give them 5 potions. I'll give them 20 travel rations, whatever. No big deal. Those are the easy ones for me. So I'll usually just do
Terry made a
those.
good point in chat. Like, what are your thoughts on doing that? Doing town board stuff for a place where your faction doesn't control it. Like, do you care?
I don't care about factions.
Because you're giving them money.
It's one of those things where sometimes you gotta put that stuff aside because this is the place on Trajectory to have the level 5 harvesting or the refining station rather for a material that nobody else can really get done because there's been places getting knocked down left and right. So if there's a level 5 forge almost finished in a place and I need a level 5 forge, and that's the only place that looks like it's going to have it, yeah, it doesn't matter my faction. I'm going to get on that town board. I'm going to help it out because I want to use that level 5 forge. I'm going to pay a little bit of tax for using it. That's fine, whatever. But I'm really looking to get to that forge.
I wonder how the role-playing servers are doing this.
I have
I need to
no
talk to Dow
idea.
about that. Like how strict is it, right? Like, are you only using your faction stuff? Right, because that's how
Yeah,
it should
that's a
be.
good
I mean,
question.
I feel like the true role playing thing here, because we always have talked about like what's the point of factions? I mean, you can walk into somebody else's castle and use their stuff. You know, what's the
Well,
point?
we're supposed
But
to be like allies against the corruption, just factional and who gets to control what.
yeah, but
Role
still,
playing for me is I'm African and don't give a fuck about taxes. I don't even know what taxes are. So whatever it is, you say I have to give you this in order for me to craft the stuff I need to craft. Okay, I give you that shiny crap that doesn't mean anything to me unless I'm going to use it as a bracelet or for jewel craft. So,
well,
um,
okay.
you know, capitalism, that's not a thing in my culture. Um, there are only two. I can only have one alt. Is that right?
On the cluster, you could go to a different cluster.
But it seems like there's
Cluster
only
or server?
no. It
Isn't
seems
it? Isn't it cluster?
like
You're
there's
almost.
only. But it seems like there's only two available slots. Or can I have more characters than just two?
I don't think so yet.
Yeah.
Right, that's my point. I think I can only have two characters. I think I can only have one alt. Yeah. So I've maxed out my alts, which I guess should be expected since I'm an altaholic. But both of my characters are around 24, 25. And my first character. So I played mostly last week on the Diggs character, as which I really started just so I could get screenshots. But it was different enough. It's a different enough path that I continued playing that, and I have an idea of when I officially make the Diggs character on the RP server that I really want to play the character on. I do have a direction that I know I want to go on, but the Diggs character got the Azoth staff first, and I just got the Azoth staff for Kuchimba on last night, I think. So it's been fun, kind of going back and forth. I've been spending about a week on each character, um, and Kuchimba just got the star medal this morning, and I didn't get to play very much today. But hopefully, I'll be crafting some star medal um, crafting tools for her. But I have mining at 100. I have smelting at 100. I need to get workshop up to 100, and I think I'm around 70 right now. So that means crafting a bunch of, I guess, steel crafting items to get that up there quickest. I don't know. But yeah, I think for me, the way I think about it is
I might have to hit you up for some of those tools too. So I'll feed you some star
okay,
metal and stuff.
okay. Because I'm crafting my own stuff, um, and I enjoy the crafting and gathering stuff to be able to craft it. Um, I think that's keeping my leveling pace kind of chill. And again, it always gives me something to do because I'm always, searching for um, resources. Speaking of that, I'm going to segue a little bit into cooking. The cooking is kind of messing me up a little bit because I would like to focus on um, meat soup and the meat products that are supposed to give bonuses to corruption wards. Kuchimba, which is the character that I've been playing this weekend, is going to be having corrupted NPCs as her primary enemy, her favored enemy, kind of. And Diggs will have the Lost as the focus on enemy. Um, and so I would like cooking to kind of play into that. But I think what I was finding is I'm not getting the drops for resources. Like I can't get the ingredients that I need. Seems like the ingredients I need to even make barley soup, which says I should be able to craft that at 0, I have to get a tier 3 um, resource. Like it's not salt. I forgot what it was. It's something that I don't have access to, and seems to only drop from mobs that are tier
Well,
3.
or
I think it's either ginger or nutmeg. I know exactly what you're
Yeah, it
talking
might be
about.
ginger. Yeah, yeah. Ginger, I think, is
or
what it was.
provision crates. You know, we talked about that back in beta. I really think the provisioner crates are like way too few compared to supply crates and other things. You know, a lot of
Yeah,
what
and I
you need
think
come from those.
I think that's the thing that seems out of whack to me. Is it seems like I should, if I want to be able to make a tier 1, like barley soup is tier 1, I should be able to get that from a tier 1, or from a provision crate in a tier 1 area. I should be able to get that stuff in a 1 to 25 area, I would think.
It's,
And then if I'm
and
gonna,
that jerks me around too, because there is a place where there's a storyline or a regional quest where you're supposed to go somewhere and get the specific barley from the specific
oh yeah,
place. So you pick that barley, but if you
yeah,
pick a 7th, 8th, and 9th, it doesn't matter because it's
that's
that town's namesake barley that you're getting, not the item barley that you hold in your hand.
right.
And so that's like a real screwy thing. It's like, yeah, barley's used in lower level quests, but you turn the only barley in the regions into a quest item. I've been trying to get barley so I can make some of that honey mead stuff so I can get the
Exactly,
plus 10 armor crafting.
yeah,
You need to get that soon. I'm going to be making a nice big bag here in a moment.
exactly, yeah.
That's the other thing with cooking digs. I assume you're aware. You know, the spices are in specific zones, right? So you'll have to go out to other areas to get certain spices. So one and the
Which
1 to 25.
Yeah, and I think that that's something that I like, because like I like knowing where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go over to this farm to get this. I'm gonna go over to that farm, or I'm gonna go into. I like having a reason to go into. There should be a reason why I want to go into Windsward instead of staying in First Light, or go over to, what's the one that starts with the
Monarch's
N?
Bluff.
Yeah, Monarch Bluffs. There should be reasons why I want to go to those regions. Um, but I want to know that I should go there.
Yeah, that
Not
too.
just, you know,
There isn't like an
I don't know
almanac
where I
or
should go.
something. In fact, now that I
Yeah.
think about it, an in-game almanac would be the greatest thing, like a level 15 quest or something to go do that. It's like, well, great. Now you know, or each region has its own almanac quest that you have to recover from a lost area or something. And then you actually get to know what's in that region. You have, maybe a map overlay or something. Or you just go to the web version that was just linked in chat and
Mhm.
just do it that way, because who makes it that you can see all the content you want or need to know in the game? Oh no, it's the wiki era.
Yeah. Terradin is saying the interactive map is wrong, but on some stuff. But that's the thing. Like, I was looking for rice. I did finally find some rice in some provision crates. Um,
I think I've
I
got a
just haven't
pile
been able
of
to look
rice.
but it should be more. I feel like I should have more control over that. Like, I should know somewhere there should be rice fields, and I should know what region that's in. And if it's in Monarch Bluffs and I have to go there every time I want rice, I think that's great.
Yeah. And you just hang out there longer if you want more.
Yeah. That's kind of the way it should be, rather than me just running around hoping I get enough rice as I randomly try and find provision crates or supply provision crates, and what is it? Provision crates
Caches.
and what?
There's provision crates, supply crates, and then there's the cache or coffers or big treasure chests that have, you know,
And there's one
potentially
other
anything.
thing, but yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, that being said, it's still fun to play. That's the little thing that I think that they can tweak. And again, I think there's still time for them to change stuff.
I
Tweak
expect
stuff.
it.
Yeah. Um,
I don't know
but
how many of
so
the assets that are in the game right now are intending to be more than just a bush or more than just some decorative flowers, but as another material you'll be able to gather as they add a little bit more to things. So, you know, there could be more intermediary resources and materials along the way and different ways to get stuff.
yes, and so Terradin is saying once you are 60, you can chase mats for specific recipes. Um, and but we should be doing that at lower. Well, we should be doing that from jump, and that's mostly from a RP perspective, actually, um, because that would that helps with RP if you know one character is focused on cooking meat stuff because their focus is really on the corrupt, and somebody else is focused on cooking other stuff because they are armor smiths and that's the stuff that they like to do. Uh, that's great RP fodder as we're trying to trade different foods or as we're at a campsite together and you've got your corn stuff that you're cooking and I've got my meat stuff that I'm cooking. We share back and forth. It's mostly for the RP of it. It would really help if we were able to have that really starting solidly from jump.
I've not yet really found a reason to cook. Like I have the meals, so I'm using them to regen over time, but I've not found a real a lot of the things like some of the trade school stuff or like logging, for example, I've not yet entered a phase where I'm specifically going out to like mine. So using some sort of food to increase that.
Because you're purchasing your stuff.
No.
You purchased your tools.
Well, for the perks. I mean, I'm still crafting everything. I'm not selling mats. I'm creating stuff with them. Which actually is a good conversation starter is purchasing things, because one thing that seems to be getting really topsy turvy, and I'm curious how this is just across servers. I know on Thleam, it looks like
I just picked up a Weirdwood freaking fishing rod for 25 gold in
that's
Cutlass Keys, and it has like 3 great attributes on it. It's blue quality for 25 gold. It's like,
yeah, you're getting what I'm coming from.
How can I not get this? Everything else was priced differently, but the highest one I could afford and equip with the little check boxes, $25 for that. Like, did somebody die holding this or something? Like, this thing's great.
You know where I'm going with this is the prices have started to, I hadn't fished for a while. So when I first did a bunch of fishing, you could sell fish fillets, either tier 1, tier 2. It'd make a decent amount of money. Even tier 1 was selling like 4 or 5 gold a piece. I think now on, at least where I was, they were, which I think was Windsward, was like 0.4 or something a piece. Like the economy has sort of tanked when it comes.
It's what? It's 0.4 for a fishing pole?
No, for the fish fillet for cooking.
Okay.
So you salvage your fish and you get your fish oil, fish fillet, those sorts of things. But even some of the
less than a gold. It's less than 1 gold.
Yeah, and even some of the rare items or epic that you can get through that process are super cheap. Like there's just. And I'm curious if that's everywhere, if that's sort of the natural state of the economy, if this is just things were too overpriced to begin with because there were too many people.
Why would you buy anything? Just make it.
Well, fishing's one of those that was pretty well used from provisioners. So
for me, it's a material and specificity sort of thing. How much time is it going to take me to get up to be able to craft that item, and then how much time and effort and resources is it going to take me to spin again and again and again and again to get what I'm looking for versus I can just check.
But what are you looking for?
If it's going to be a combination of having the attributes and the perks that I'm looking for. If we're talking about tools, it's specifically perks that help me level it up faster, or for the fishing rod, this one here has increased reach.
Still on steel 2, but you're still on steel 2. You're level 30 something, and you're still on steel crafting items. From what I heard, you spent 10 levels.
Oh yeah, no, I just started getting higher level. I got a star metal pick earlier for, I think yesterday, for 500. That's got some really great attributes. I got this fishing rod earlier that was 25 gold.
But you said you spent 10 levels. You spent 10 levels with steel tools.
Yeah.
So it's not that important.
For me, it's important to have better tools because the reduced harvesting time means I'm spending less of my own time sitting there banging on something where I could be enjoying the game faster or harvesting more efficiently and faster.
What level do you have to be to use steel tools?
Steel?
Not steel. No, not steel. I meant star metal. Star metal. What level do you have to be to use star metal tools?
It seems like around 35 is where I start seeing the items on the shop.
Yeah, it'll vary from gear score. Gear score will change that. So.
Yeah,
like even steel can go to 20 to like 28. I mean, it's a.
I mean, if you're maxed out skill and you're using all maxed out techniques, you can't make something below a certain level of quality as much as you try. So, someone who's maxed out is making really good steel tools.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just wondering. So you got a star metal. What did you say?
Star metal pickaxe and a weird wood fishing rod.
But you bought the fishing rod.
I bought them both.
Oh, okay.
I don't have the tool crafting skills. I'm working on armor. I still don't have that
fishing rod. Sounds nice.
Yeah. It's a great deal.
That's the reason why I want to work on my logging. And I don't remember what it's at. I think my logging is in the 70s. But I do want to push that up to 100 so I can start logging weird wood.
Mm-hmm. Where you also can see some of the oddities with the economy. And again, I'm curious if this is like this on other servers. There's this huge influx of gold sellers now, right? That spam the chats, but it's only like $4 for 1,000 gold. So it's like. Which is very cheap. Like, so what, like, and one of them advertised like, $4 for 1,000 gold. And they said they had in stock like 750,000 gold. So it's like, I don't know.
I wonder if it's one of the guilds that owns a place that then takes the money and siphons that off for.
Yeah, it's just.
I wonder how long it'll take before our investigations actually reveal any of that sort of stuff.
No, because I feel like for a game in its infancy, because I can remember, I think back to when games start.
How much of this is actually real and how much of this is people just getting ripped off?
I think it's real, but, because, every game has gone through this since, EverQuest. So I think of new games and sort of how expensive money is in real money initially. Like EverQuest 2, to buy, to get a platinum was like unheard of for months. It was, well, not months, but it took a long time.
It was months, I think.
So, $4 is probably not going to get you, 500 gold, let alone a platinum. So to see, 1,000 gold for $4 and we have just under 1 million gold, it's like, wow. So is this just a really messed up economy? Did someone is there like some sort of dupe in that's a bug that's still there that they don't know about? But then when you pair that with seeing prices dip so much, so like people, either have, they've exhausted, it's weird. Like in a week, it's changed big time.
But that's because you have people trying to sell gold in New World probably as if it's a real MMORPG, and it's not. Um, so where it's so easy to to gather and make your own stuff. Crafting isn't just the afterthought after you get tired of adventuring, and so okay, maybe I'll do a little bit of crafting here. It's just you do whatever you want, so you can make your own stuff, and that's part of the fun of leveling. Again, what am I spending my gold on? You can pretty much make anything that you want, and then I guess if you want something super specific and special,
yeah, but you're level
spend your money
24,
on
not
that.
fighting level 24 mobs, so that might be part of the problem.
But what does that
I
mean?
mean-
That means that I should be buying something, right?
Maybe.
You don't have to. I'm just saying that you're not, but that's part of that mismatch in your level and your harvesting abilities and your crafting. Like there's a very big lag, which is, I think, it's fine, but that's, I brought that up very early because as I'm still at like 70 for skinning, 75 for mining, and I've been hitting. Granted, I have not played a lot, but I've leveled slowly, and in between leveling is a lot of gathering. But I'm still that far behind in the progression tree of what I'm going to be able to do in my new zone. So for you, it's a similar thing. You don't have those, you don't want to buy them, which is fine, but you're probably not crafting yet you're not at that point to be able to craft it either.
Yeah, but I don't feel like I'm ready to move up to cutlass keys.
That's fine. I can only take so much of running around 3 zones constantly. 4 zones.
I had so much Azoth, and I was clearing my bag so light every time. It didn't really matter to me. 50 here, 100 there, whatever. I can get between the zones and the little in-betweener shrines. I actually didn't feel like it was that terrible after I started getting into it. I got very used to going back to my inn and just processing things there and handling things there. And then once my bags are empty and everything's in storage, head on out again. And that was basically my strategy. I've got so much brimming piles of Azoth. I've got 2 vials of Azoth in the bag in storage in case I somehow run out and need it in an emergency somehow. I didn't really have that much of a problem getting around once I got comfortable with the idea that the best use of Azoth is for that convenience and use it to be convenient.
Yeah.
And once you have a house, you can cross the world. Thanks, Terradin.
But right now is when you should be buying shit because it's cheap. And it's weird it's just really weird how quickly it has become so cheap. It's something I don't understand because at the same time.
I think it's cheap because people don't have to buy. I mean, I've got tons and tons.
Well, that could be. The population has also changed. So if you look at Steam charts, they, I think, peaked at like just under 1 million concurrent players. And I forget what it was now. Like their most recent peak was like 600,000, which is still good. I'm not saying it's not good. Now it's sort of averaging, was it 430,000? So it's sort of, you can see this, like, well, initially it's actually a slow creep because there's server issues, but then it kind of peaks 3 days later, 4 days later, and then it's just slowly starting to do the decline. Now it's kind of flattened out, but the other part that makes the economy so weird, though, is the server does seem less populated. Like, I don't see nearly as many people running around, especially on like this morning or yesterday on a weekend. Yet the prices have continued to tank. It's just weird. And I think part of that is because you go out and there's just an abundance of resources, which just makes part of what makes the game fun is because
That's what I'm saying.
You don't have to go, long distances to get to the next piece of ore or whatever you're looking for. And that makes it fun. But also this sort of, other consequence to the economy.
Right, and I would say too. So I should be getting not from purchasing armor, but I think by level 24 I should be getting my armor, my good gear, from going into dungeons. Right, I should be doing Armin Temple or whatever.
Armin Temple,
which I haven't done yet. I think that's where people are getting their great gear from as well. And then again, I've got tons and tons and tons of excess armor. Like I'm about to go out and make 25 pickaxes, probably steel pickaxes, just so I can raise my my weapon making or tool making, whatever that is, my workshop skill. I don't need it. I'm gonna have 25 excess pickaxes because I just need that to.
At least you can salvage and get some of it.
Yeah, you can get some of it back.
Salvage for what? And that's going to give me what?
A couple.
Well, you'll need the repair parts eventually.
I'm saying, so it gives. I got tons of repair parts. I salvage a whole bunch of stuff. I'm just saying. So if I try, I'm going to sell those. Some of those are going to be green, and I could sell them. But I mean, if everybody's doing that, stuff is going to be cheap.
So there's a couple other things. There isn't really like and I think I might have mentioned this last time. There's a lack of a vendor level of setting normalcy that here's gray items of these level ranges, and here's just basic ass potions that you're able to make and how much they cost. And so that immediately starts to set an actual like baseline. You can't really be selling this for less than this. Otherwise, people, it's, yeah, you got to be doing at least what the vendors kind of set the thing at. You can go lower and then, maybe people will try to buy you out and keep you closer to the vendors' minimums and stuff, but still be able to have a market going. And then the other thing is when there's things that have so much abundance and there's no upcycling of things that you don't need. Again, like minor healing potions, you can't distill 10 of them into one common healing potion and then 10 of those into one large healing potion. So there's no other end route than trying to sell them on the market or just dropping them, or maybe waiting around and hoping you get the town board quest for them for the millions that you've crafted. And then when you go to the market, well, you're trying to undercut the undercut of the undercut's undercut. And so it's just this layering of everyone going 1 cent lower than the last person. And then when you go to sell, it's like, well, the last guy listed 1,000 of these things for 3 cents. Do I really go down to 2 cents and try to do it for like 1 day to lower my costs? It becomes a very ridiculous, the opposite of one-upsmanship, the race to the bottom of the barrel. And it's funny sometimes because if there's things that are in such abundance that people don't really actually need and there's just way too much of it, but it comes up as a town board thing, shoot, people will buy it and throw it on the town board. Easy peasy. You spent 5 cents, or 50 cents, you got 5 gold back for it, you got some experience, you advance the town board. Yeah, it's kind of a silly sort of thing.
Yeah, part of it is that there's not enough variety in the stuff that we can make, in the sense of just the base of it, right? So probably everybody is going to have at some point a set of steel tools, and it doesn't really matter the quality of the steel tools. They're useful. So you don't really need to go out and spend a lot of money to purchase a super good one. When everybody has them, you can't make them super expensive, and so there's not a lot of super rare stuff. And not, as far as I know, it's kind of difficult to make rare stuff.
Not really. If you're just grinding through things, like at this point, if I do a run of 20 sets of gloves or boots, 2 or 3 of them are going to come out blue with a gem slot and 2 attributes on them. And that's without using any Azoth or anything. It's just, hell, sometimes that'll even happen if I'm using lower tier materials in it. So, like...
Right. I mean, there's no way to really consistently make something like, I know I want to make this thing and it's going to have this attribute. Maybe that
unless you've got like the charms and other things. But yeah. And then there's also, I've talked about this in the past, there's no way to scale back to a lower range of the gear score. Like I had the story from one of the betas where max level crafter wanted to, fulfill a commission for me and make me an iron longsword because I was just getting into the level range to be able to use one and I needed a sword. So he makes one and he hands it to me. And I think it was like level 21 or level 31. It's like, sorry, bro, I can't make anything lower level than that. I'm using literally the lowest quality materials that it will allow. But because of my gear score, or my skill level, rather, I can't make anything of a gear level that you'll be able to use here. So, sorry, thanks, sorry, whatever. Good luck.
Yeah.
It's like, that's ridiculous to me. The fact that you can't, like, pull back on your skill and then have each increment of reducing the skill maybe increase the quality or potential for other things, because then that starts to feed into a system where you can be feeding a certain level and tier of players with your maxed out skill and your cool materials, but to be able to do it in such a way that they can actually use the items at like level 45 or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a weird sort of thing.
Yeah, and I wonder how much that's like in real life. It sounds hysterical from a real life perspective. I'm such an expert, I can't make a crappy tool.
Okay, no, there is something to that, Diggs. Like, if somebody asked you to do tango dancing, but to do it poorly and off balance, you're like, shit, I don't want to do that. I don't want to like lose my balance or, twist my ankle or something. I have to do the moves right. Otherwise it's dangerous. And so you can't be a crappy tango dancer because so
that's right.
Yeah.
And the way that actually works is I will take a salsa class or a bachata class, and I'm just taking the class, and my partners will be like, "Where do you teach?" And I'm like, "I didn't say anything. Why are you asking me that?" They're like, "No, there's something about the way you held me or you did something." I was like, "Okay, but I said nothing. I just followed the directions of the teacher." Or like, right, if you're in a movie, the way you make an ugly main female characters to give them glasses, right? That's what.
In real life, you can swing a diamond pickaxe just as much as you can swing a stone pickaxe, because your skill is not dependent on the weapon or the axe you're using. It's your strength and your ability to recognize what you're doing, which gets me back to this idea that they're going to tie crafting things to your combat level. Drives me absolutely insane when it comes to the tools.
Realistically, if someone wanted to min-max,
it's just to your level. It's just to your level. It's not to your combat level. So
but that's your combat. But you're getting more. You're going to get. My point being, you're going to get that level faster through combat than you are just by harvesting. So in my mind, it's yes, you contribute.
Not if you do tasks.
It's a funny sort of min-max. The idea of either I can craft and grind my skills along the way so I can be making the items I'm using as I'm playing the game and leveling up, or zoom, let's get to max level as fast as we can. Then I can use the highest tier of tools to do the harvesting so I can supercharge my refining skills and be able to have tons of materials to craft with all easily. So it's a weird sort of thing. Like, if someone wanted to be the most efficient at crafting, it isn't even getting tools along the way. You just get to max level. You get yourself a nice set of max level tools from some nice person, or buying or whatever, finding them somehow, and great. Now you can go back those basic little trees. Oh, no problem. Chop chop. All right, mature trees, whatever. Chop chop. The level 3 trees. All right. Okay, maybe it's going to take 3 hits. Whatever. I'm max level. I'm using max level gear.
Yeah.
Well, we're almost out of time. I also want to mention that they're doing pretty good on patches already, so that's been nice. One thing I hope to see improved sometime reasonably soon, doesn't have to be immediately, is performance. So even with video settings kind of turned down, I don't have the blazing new computer. My CPU is probably, I upgraded it maybe 2-3 years ago. I still have a 980, video card, 32 gigs of RAM. But as I was getting ready to do these videos and everything else today, I was playing New World, and I had to update all of my Adobe stuff because I hadn't had that for several months. And just updating, Photoshop, Premiere Pro, all of a sudden New World is just like stop and go. Like just performance just tanked. And actually I opened up the performance monitor just because I was curious, and it's like, GPU's running at like 95%, memory, even though I have like 32 gigs. It's like somewhere 75% maxed. Like it's just like crazy. CPU's up there.
Yeah. It runs my machine really hot. Like I was playing, I was starting up the game and walked away to do something, and someone else nearby was like, "What the hell is that sound?" It's like, oh, that loud fan, that yeah, that's the fans on my computer trying to keep it cool. I think it just tries to max out everybody's machine, and it's like, instead of, hey, let's get the resources we need as we need them, it's, hey, let's grab all the resources and then use them as we need them.
Yeah, it's
like, a little ridiculous.
And this was just up. I didn't have After Effects open. I didn't have Premiere Pro open. Like I was doing no video processing. I was just updating the programs, and it just was struggling to find the resources to do that. So, so performance would be a nice thing to work on at some point.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thank you all for joining us on our inaugural show. I guess we will start trying to alternate back and forth now between this and Ashes of Creation, which has also been somewhat dormant. So I feel less sad that I'm usually the one that if we don't do a show, it's because something has come up with my life. So I feel a little less bad about that because there's just not been anything to talk about with them. So.
Carve your pumpkins, though, or impale them upon the frame of a horse-like creature or whatever you want to do, because that's the contest they got going.
Yeah, every year.
Yeah.
I guess it's good they do it, but
yeah.
All right, everyone. We'll have a good week, and we will see you back here next Sunday.
All right, sounds good. See you later, everybody. Thanks for coming.